Hello again and welcome to Ask the Mayor, our monthly conversation with Mayor Mike Huether from the City of Sioux Falls. And your questions guide our questions on this show. So send us your questions at siouxfalls.org. Click on the Mayor's office and you'll see a place to send questions to Ask the Mayor. Mayor Huether, welcome.
Thanks, Reed.
Can you believe it's September already? Fourth quarter.
It means winter's coming, but it's been a great year, much to celebrate. Kids are back to school. The town is really just tacked on all kinds of things yet, and we're going to squeeze as much of life as we can before the first snowfall hits, and we'll squeeze in some life even after snowfall hits too.
Yeah, no doubt. And we have to be really careful with our driving habits now that school's back in.
Please, I know we want to get from point A to point B as fast as we can, but please realize we still have folks working on our roads. Fixing roads, fixing bridges, doing all that stuff. But maybe more importantly, we've got all these young people out there that are trying to get to their schools. And so please slow down, take your time, give them a break, and let's just keep this town as safe as we can.
And the police department's been doing some good patrols lately of some of our corridors that have had some speeding concerns as of late.
Well, and I think that folks, you have to understand, we don't want to just bust people or pull people over to pull them over, but we do want to keep this town safe. And so, if you're speeding and we're patrolling that area, we're going to get you. If you're texting and driving, we want to get you. And again, all in the spirit of keeping this town as safe as we can.
Let's talk about the railroad relocation
Sure.
project. A lot of news lately on what's going on there, and you're looking for input from all of us and what we'd like to see there.
We are. It is. I think it's got the potential to be one of the biggest things that this city has ever tackled in our city's history. And we want to do it right. And what I mean by that is we also care about getting some input from those dreamers, those developers, those investors, but also the citizens of Sioux Falls in terms of what do we do with that 10 plus acres of land right in the heart of our downtown. And so we've been engaging folks, and we'll continue to do that over the next months and years. And who knows, we'll get a shovel in the ground soon to begin to realize some of those big dreams.
We've hired a firm to help us out with this.
We have. We've hired a third-party firm to try to help lead us on this roadmap towards developing this land. It's a firm that has tackled projects much like this in other cities, and so they are a third-party firm. They'll listen, they'll learn, they'll try to help coach us on what's the best way to move forward. And I think it'll prove to be a very, very worthy investment because we all have different ideas. I personally kind of envision this grand square like you'd see in Europe, for example, where you've got some green space, but you've also got places to work, places to play, places to live. It's that area where everybody wants to congregate for their lunch or whatever it would be, and we see it in Europe, and I'd love to see it here. But again, I'm not going to be the one who's going to decide. It'll ultimately be the people of Sioux Falls and this process that we go through that'll do it.
Will there be any partnership between the city and private developers?
I think that there's a good chance on that. I think you're going to see. There will be some private development that's going to take place, but also some public development as well. And I think that'll ultimately maximize it. Ultimately, I don't know what's going to be there. So, but it is critical. Folks, you have to understand the United States taxpayer. They gave us upwards of $35-40 million to redevelop this land in a grand way, to create economic development, to create quality of life, to really take our downtown to the next level. So these taxpayers across the nation, they entrusted us with this land. So I think we need to focus on doing it right versus doing it fast. And the city government will play our role in that, but the private developers will. So yeah, it's going to be fun. but it's taken us since 2005 to get this far. So, if we take a couple of months or a couple of years, I think that's okay too.
Do we still have some work to do on making sure the land is safe and any toxic waste is out of there?
Well, we've done some preliminary studies where we've done some drilling, and actually it's cleaner than what we thought it was going to be. However, we do need to get it ready for development, including removing those tracks, removing any challenges that may be within the soil itself. But yeah, we'll tackle that as it comes. But what's interesting is that BNSF Railroad, the folks that we purchased that land from, I think they're as excited to move this project to the next phase as we are. They're aggressively doing their part, we're aggressively doing our part, and so things are moving, Sioux Falls, and before you know it, boom, we'll have our first building or two within that grand space in downtown Sioux Falls.
There's potentially some good views on the north side of that at the beginning of the falls.
I think that there's a good chance, because it's 10 acres. I think there's a good chance that a lot of the development is going to go up. And that means, multiple stories with some very, very spacious views. East, south, north, northwest, right in the heart of our downtown. I think it'll be pretty grand.
River Greenway is looking ahead to that. I mean, that all plays into this as well, too, eventually.
What we've done so far has been magnificent, and taking the development that we've already done on the River Greenway, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 will come. The private development that's already taken place downtown, that's already made a big impact. Some of the other things that are going on, and now we throw in this 10 acres of land, and you put it all together, we are well on our way to one magnificent downtown. And I think it'll be that place to live, that place to work, that place to play. That we've been dreaming about for years, and now we're really making happen.
Another big thing that we've been waiting for to get finished is the Midco Aquatic Center. We have a ribbon cutting coming up in October.
Sioux Falls, you've waited a long time for this, and it's here. It's here, and it's incredible. I walked in there just last week, kind of unannounced, and I got emotional walking in there. Because it is such a beautiful facility. It's going to be unbelievably functional. It's going to serve all of us in such a grand way. And we've waited so long. I mean, the 1950s, the 1960s, Reed, I wasn't even born then. And we were talking about a potential new indoor place to swim, and now we've done it. And so Sioux Falls, love to have you come to the ribbon cutting. Would love to have you come into your new indoor aquatics facility. And I think you're going to be as pleased with as I am. And get your kids, get your grandkids, get your friends, get them ready, because I think the hopping time will certainly be this winter. And Reed, we're going to have people, sledding down that hill there by the VA, and then you'll be able to look in or look out into people, swimming inside, in just this glorious temperature-controlled environment where people are just going to be, learning to swim with swim lessons or competing or getting therapy or whatever it would be. It's just going to be, it's wonderful.
It really is a multi-featured building.
It's got it all. It really does. And I think that some people were thinking, it's just going to be for those swim teams. No way in the world is it just for them. If we've got veterans or people who need therapy to overcome some injury, wait till you see this therapy pool. You've got a new grandchild like I've got, or some young toddler. There's a great place for them to swim. The 50-meter pool, we can break that up now into 3 different areas, so we can have someone learning how to swim in one area, training for a swim meet in another, or jumping off the high board in another, coming down this loop-de-loop slide, and just so much more. This lazy river. There's so much to do, including you can even have a birthday party at the new Midco Aquatics facility. It is really, it's multi-purpose. It's absolutely beautiful. And Sioux Falls, we did it again. We built it on time, and we built it under budget. So much in government, you hear about it across the states, across the country, cost overrun, cost overrun, cost overrun. Not in our town. We manage these things very, very well. People like Kendra Simmonsma and all these other project managers and all these engineers and these people that we hire, they really are trying to make that taxpayer dollar as efficient and productive as possible, and we proved it again with the Midco Aquatics Center. It's going to be done on time, and we're actually going to have some money left over for those day 2 items that are sure to come too.
So ribbon cutting's October 12th at 5:30 p.m.
Yes.
No swimming that day, but it
No.
opens the next morning.
Come the next morning if you want to swim, but don't miss the ribbon cutting. I mean, how many times in life do we get these opportunities to do these once in a lifetime things for your city? This is the very first time that the city of Sioux Falls will ever celebrate a new indoor publicly owned aquatics facility. Why would you miss it? I mean, come on down. We'll have some music, we'll have some food, some energy, and all kinds of people just celebrating what we've accomplished in the great city of Sioux Falls. Just like we did with the events center, we'll do the same thing with the aquatics facility, and I can hardly wait. I'm going to be there the very next morning, greeting everybody who comes that next morning when you can swim. And in fact, I'm planning on jumping off the high board myself that next morning.
No fear of heights, right?
Well, I actually do have a fear of heights, but this is one that I'll tackle. Yeah.
All right, 5:30 in the morning on the 13th.
I'll be there.
See Mayor Huther jump off the high board,
Yes.
the highest one, right?
Yes, and I'll be fine.
All right, good. All right. Let's talk about the rest of the parks. Now, there's also things being done around the aquatic center as well, too, to make the park better.
It is. I know that there were some people around that neighborhood who were really concerned that we were going to lose some of the amenities of Spellerbrook Park. And in reality, I think that we improved Spellerbrook Park in just a phenomenal way. And you'll see it. Folks, drive by Spellerbrook. I mean, drive by it. There's brand new tennis courts, brand new places to picnic. The landscaping is phenomenal. It really does blend in well with the neighborhood. And not only did I think that we saved that neighborhood, I really think we enhanced that neighborhood in a phenomenal way, as well as I think all those property values all around that area. This was the energy boost that neighborhood needed. And I think it's going to be the hot place to live because, no matter what the age, you now are within walking distance of an incredible facility that you can use every single day of the year. And so, yeah, it's just it's really turned out well. I'm just so enthused.
October 12th, 5:30 is the ribbon cutting.
Yes.
See Mayor Huther there. Other parks in Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls Police Department's been focusing on patrolling other parks where we've had some concerns over the past summers. How did that go this year?
Yeah, well, I think that we could talk about all the good things going on in our town, and it's fun to do. But I think there are challenges that we face as a community too every now and then, and we certainly had our challenges at Van Epps Park, for example, 2 years ago, and then last year. Heritage Park was another park that we really had some things going on there that were just not appropriate. I remember the TV stations showing, these people passing out, falling off of a picnic table because they were, so drunk, or some, I remember a woman taking a swing at another gentleman, and they were fighting, and I remember Reed when we actually talked about at Van Epps how the hand sanitizer in the porta potties, how there were these folks who were drinking that hand sanitizer to get their buzz or to get their high. And that was just not a very reflective of how good our community is. And there were assaults going on there, arrests that we were doing. And so we really did step it up in terms of taking a proactive approach with those parks, with those neighborhoods, with those neighbors, and yes, with those people that were causing those challenges. And it's really paid off. Now it is rare that we have an issue at Van Epps Park or at Heritage or at Tower. We still will every now and then, but we're really policing them in a very proactive way, or using an offensive style versus the defensive style. And it's made an incredible difference. It has. And Sioux Falls, this is going to sound a little crazy, but this is reality. We actually count the number of beer cans or whiskey bottles that we now find in our trash cans at those parks, and we track it. Again, we can't stop it all, but if we see a trend that we don't like, we will be on it now in a much more aggressive fashion, and it's paid off well.
Police department's been focusing on building more relationships in neighborhoods as well.
Well, I think that our police team, our fire team, even all of our city employees, I think that we appreciate that we're serving the public and that we want to engage them as well. If there's one group who really engages the public, probably at the highest level, it is our police team, and it's not just the nice people. It's some of the more challenging people as well, and you bet they are. They're not just in their patrol cars anymore. They're on foot. They're walking. They're biking. They're patrolling. They're engaging, and they're not only making inroads with the good people, but intriguingly enough, they're also making inroads with some of the bad people too. And again, there's all these techniques that our police team uses to try to help keep our city safe, and this has been a very proactive one and a very good one. And we break up our city now into quadrants too, and so that our police officers really get to know specific areas and specific neighbors, and yet some of the bad guys as well.
Your Big Sioux River Summit will be later on after this taping happens, but you're focused on good water and good environment here in the city as well too. Talk about these buffer strips. What's a buffer strip?
Reed, on this program, people have engaged us about, hey Mayor, let's talk about the Big Sioux River or our water, and do we have enough water to drink? Is it of good quality? What about for economic development purposes? How do we keep the river clean or make it clean? Because reality is, our Big Sioux River, as much as we value it, it is an impaired body of water. And so the mayor's Big Sioux River Summit was something that we started after I was elected, and it's really been an opportunity for us to talk not only about the good of our river, but also some of the bad of our river too. And one of the things that I think is good is that we are executing or implementing some things in the city of Sioux Falls that have been done all across our great state and all across our great nation. For example, these buffer strips or these filter strips. What it is, Sioux Falls, is you've got this tributary or this creek or this river or this lake. What you do is you allow some of the grasses or the vegetation to grow all around it. You create a filter strip so that when it rains, all that runoff gets filtered through that grass or through that woody stuff or through that vegetation. It gets filtered before it goes into the river or into the creek or into the lake. And hey, Sioux Falls, we're asking farmers to do it all over our state. We're asking ranchers to do it all over our state. Well, the same thing, the same expectations should happen for the cities and towns across Sioux Falls or across South Dakota too. And I would love Sioux Falls to lead in that effort, and that's what we're doing. So the next time you're on the bike trail, Sioux Falls, take a look at these no-mow areas, these areas where we used to mow them and now we don't. We're creating this filter to help protect or help clean our water. And yes, and I've taken some heat on this program, and certainly others have as well, like Andy Berg, for example. We've stopped mowing some of these areas around our drainage areas too. And we've taken some heat because people want to go walk their dog in there or have a baseball practice in there, and now we are not mowing them. But that again, Sioux Falls is done to really filter these waters before they go into our Big Sioux. And then maybe one last thing, folks, you can't just mow this stuff for free. You can't. It's very expensive. We mow so much grass in this town, and I often wonder, why do we do that? Because it's not free. You got to pay for the gas. You got to pay for the machinery. You got to pay for the labor. And so here we are. We're getting two bangs for our buck. We're not only cleaning our Big Sioux, cleaning our most critical waterway and source of water, but we're saving some taxpayer dollars along the way and being more environmentally friendly as well.
Fascinating. When we take a break, you want to learn more about the mayor's talking about, you can find out about it at our website under Parks and Recreation at siouxfalls.org, and also find out about the ribbon cutting and open house on October 12th at the new Midco Aquatic Center as well, too. We'll be right back and Ask the Mayor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anderson with Falls Community Health. Every year, South Dakota roads see more than 15,000 traffic accidents and well over 100 deaths. More than 70% of the fatalities occur in passengers without a seatbelt on. Don't put yourself or your loved ones in harm's way. Buckle up, and let's put down the cell phones to keep our eyes on the road.
We're back on Ask the Mayor. Keep in touch with us as always at siouxfalls.org. Click on the mayor's office to find out what's going on and send us your questions for Ask the Mayor. In our few remaining minutes here, some things to hit on quickly. Of course, let's talk about sales tax. There's the first and second penny sales tax the city really relies on for most of its revenue. How's it looking?
Well, Sioux Falls, I think, just to give you a little revenue lesson, we talk about all these expenses that we have in our city. There's really only two ways that we pay for government stuff: property tax revenues and sales tax revenues. It's just critical. And our sales tax dollars, they're still growing. We're one of the fortunate communities across the country where we are growing in terms of our revenues, but not at the level that we were hoping for. Don't know exactly what's causing it. My gut says there's probably more internet sales every year, as well as I do think that farmers and ranchers, we just got done talking about them when we were talking about the water. My gut says is that these ranchers and these farmers and these small towns all around us that we rely on so much for sales tax revenue, I think they're being more cautious, more prudent in their spending, and so I think that's happening too. And then you throw on a presidential election, that always makes everybody cautious, and they hold back a little bit, and so we're feeling that. And but again, I think we're blessed in that we are one of the few communities that we still have this growth pattern going on. You've met recently with a number of mayors from the state of South Dakota. What's going on in those other communities? Well, it's I love meeting with the other mayors, because what you're going to find is that the same challenges, the same opportunities that they face, we face here in Sioux Falls, or what we're facing in Sioux Falls, they're facing in their communities, whether it be Huron or Rapid or Mitchell or Yankton or what. It fascinates me. And I just love engaging them and learning from them. And hopefully, they can learn from Sioux Falls as well. But yeah, they're facing these same challenges: infrastructure, limited revenues, battling some of the crime trends that we are. Folks, they're battling drugs as much as we are, and they're dealing with crime related to drugs as much as we are. And it's one of the topics we're going to be covering in the months to come.
Do you find any difference in community involvement and interaction with the council and a mayor in those different cities?
Well, here's what you're going to find, and we joke about it, but we're also very serious about it when we get together. What you're going to find is that there's a small, they're organized, but very vocal minority that really takes a lot of the time of a public servant, a lot of the time of those employees. You listen from them, you engage them, you try to serve them as best you can. But at the same time, I think that most of the mayors find that you also can't be beholden to them if you're going to try to do your best to represent the city as a whole, the town as a whole. Because I think what you're going to find is that 80% of the citizens, they're out there just doing life. They're working. They're taking care of their families. They're trying to be a good neighbor. They're going to their jobs. They're relying on the councilors and the mayors and the commissioners and these elected public servants to go out there and serve the best they can. And so whether it's Watertown or Yankton or Sioux Falls, that's what we're trying to do.
A couple of members of your team have moved on to the next chapters in your life. You want to talk about Mary Johns, Siouxland Libraries Director and Chief Project Manager, Kendra Simmonsma.
Well, I'm proud of both of them. They served our city in such a grand way, and I'm going to miss them. But at the same time, I love the fact that they're taking these days that God has given them, and they're going to go do something different with them. Capture more opportunities, create more memories. And, Mary's going to do it in retirement in Chicago, overlooking the big skyline. And Kendra is going to go off and take on an even grander role for Mid-Continent and really bring an even higher level of project management to that company. And so, whether it's Chief Barthel moving on or Kendra, or Darren Smith becoming the president and CEO of the Washington Pavilion, I've got this incredible team that I'm just so proud of that has made such a difference. But you know what? They also are capable of more. And they're going to go do it. And so I wish them well.
All right. Mayor, thank you for your time.
My pleasure, Reed. Thank you. And thanks, Sioux Falls. Great things are happening. Keep it going. Stay positive. Stay engaged. And trust me, I've got a year and a half to serve, and there's still a lot more on our to-do list that we're going to tackle together.
And we'll talk about it right here.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching Ask the Mayor, and don't forget that the ribbon cutting for the Midco Aquatic Center is on October 12th at 5:30. The next morning at 5:30 a.m., you can start swimming and meet Mayor Mike Huther there as well, too, and see him jump off the very highest level of the diving board at the Midco Aquatic Center. Also, a good way for you to keep in touch with us and your police department is the Sioux Falls Police Department's non-emergency number. Keep this written down by your phone at 367-7007. All of us can help fight crime together and, of course, keep people noticed on what's going on in and around your community. And keep in touch with us, too, at siouxfalls.org. I'm Reed Holson. Thank you for watching Ask the Mayor.